Hello, callers, and welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to the home of everything Barcelona, where we are going to be discussing on the latest developing stories. We start with Thomas Muller, who recently challenges ex-teammate Robert Lewandowski ahead of Barcelona vs Bayern Munich clash by saying that LEWY, we are coming. We are going to be discussing on that as we move ahead. Then secondly, still talking about Lewandowski, it has been reported that Bayern Munich can easily get the 5 million euros variables in Lewandowski's Barcelona deal. We are also going to be looking at that. Then to conclude this episode, talking on some transfer news, claiming that Real Madrid have gained advantage in the race to sign this Brazilian wonderkid Hendrik, of course, who have also been linked with Barcelona for a very long time. So guys, before we get right into those stories in much detail, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch right up to the very end. Thomas Muller has posted some banter on social media aimed at his former teammate Robert Lewandowski. The German was all smiles, filming himself and his current Bayern Munich teammates on their way out of Bavaria and onto Catalonia. Amidst the smiles and laughter, he had a clear message: LEWY, we are coming. The two are said to still have a good relationship. Barcelona lost the first meeting between the two sides 2-0 in Germany, in a match that many pundits said showed Barcelona on top of most of the game. Bayern, however, were much more clinical and punished the visitors' mistakes. The 33-year-old German forward was not present in Bayern's last match against Hoffenheim but is back in the squad to take on Barcelona. Muller has been a thorn in the side of the Blaugrana for years. For Barcelona's part, they need to beat Bayern if they want to keep hope of a qualification past the UEFA Champions League group stage alive. They will need Inter Milan to slip as well in order to progress. Thomas Muller never failed to throw jibes, when heading into a Barcelona encounter. He has taken it now as a habit. Of course, looking at the recent history, the way Bayern have dominated this fixture, Muller always have the confidence that they are like a bully to Barcelona. And let's see, this time around, trying to mock his own former teammate Lewandowski, saying that we are coming. And of course, let's see how the game will look like today evening. A game that should be a must-win for us, while hoping that Inter should at least drop points against Victoria Pleasant for us to still stand a chance. So let's see how it goes. It's going to be interesting though. Then moving on to the next story of discussion. One of the biggest talking points of the last summer transfer window was Robert Lewandowski's move away from Bayern Munich. The Pole left the Bavarian Giants to join Barcelona in a deal worth 45 million euros plus 5 million euros in variables. This saga lasted a fair while too, with the two parties unable to see eye to eye for the transfer fee. However, in the end, they met common ground, with Barcelona succumbing to Bayern's 50 million euro tag, but using bonuses. Those bonuses are fairly easy to achieve for Bayern, though, as reported by Bild. The deal is apparently dependent on Lewandowski's personal numbers more than Barcelona's success through the season. LEWY has gotten off to an excellent start with Barcelona, scoring 12 goals and giving 4 assists in 11 appearances in the league. He also has 5 goals in 4 appearances in the Champions League, including a hat-trick against Victoria Pleasant on game day 1. In fact, only Erling Haaland has more goals than Lewandowski this season in the top 5 leagues, with 5 goals separating the former Bundesliga duo. So at present, if Lewandowski continues at this rate, he will likely end up achieving the goals Bayern and Barcelona have set out for him in the contract. The Blaugrana will have liked the Champions League to go along with, but at present, it seems largely impossible right now. Either way, Lewandowski is set to face off against Bayern at the Camp Nou later tonight. So later tonight, Lewandowski faces his old team once again, Bayern Munich, in the Champions League at Spotify Camp Nou. Of course, this report is trying to talk about the variables that was included in the contract that Barca signed Lewandowski back in the summer. And those variables that Bayern agreed with Barca were more based on Lewandowski's personal numbers, personal stats, not even on Barcelona's success. And I think that was so wise from Bayern Munich's point of view. Definitely, I don't think Barca had to agree to all of those, but from the way Lewandowski have been banging the goals, giving assists, and doing things, living up to expectations, it definitely means that Bayern can easily get that 5 million. Like, I don't understand why Barcelona would agree a clause about Lewandowski just being based mostly on his personal records, and very less on Barcelona's success. To an extent, I think it doesn't really make sense because, as this report claims, because of that, Bayern can easily get your 5 million euros. But quite remember that the grand total of that deal was 50 million euros for Lewandowski. That is 45 million euros and 5 million euros in add-ons or variables, whatever you can call it. And it seemed as though Bayern were so wise to put those clauses based on Lewandowski's performances rather than Barca's performances or success. Then on to the final story of discussion. According to Marca, Real Madrid have gained an advantage over the likes of Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain in the race to sign Brazilian sensation Endrick. The 16-year-old Palmeiras wonderkid is one of the most sought-after young players currently, even though he cannot arrive in Europe for 2 more years, despite a whole host of clubs lining up to sign him at the earliest possible. Barcelona have held a strong interest in Hendrik ever since he burst onto the scenes at the Cofinha tournament earlier this year. The Blaugrana also made their first move recently when they met his entourage to firm up their interest in the 16-year-old. However, recent developments have seemingly left them staring at the risk of failing in their pursuit of Hendrik. For starters, PSG have already made a 20 million euro offer for the Brazilian sensation, but it is below the 35 to 40 million euros that Palmeiras will demand. But they are expected to continue their push to sign the striker. However, it is Real Madrid who quietly seem to have moved ahead of the competition. As per the report, the European champions have gotten very close to Hendrik and his entourage, repeating the strategy that they used to land players before. While there is no agreement in place between the two parties, they have forked out close bond with the teenagers' camp, and they could soon present Palmeiras with an offer to sign the 16-year-old. A coach from the club will fly to Brazil to watch Hendrik in live action, following which the call will then be made. So as things stand, it seems like Los Blancos have the advantage in that race for Hendrik, and Barcelona will have to fight their way back into the contest to avoid missing out on him. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.